What if the goalkeeper everyone had written off suddenly found himself back in the spotlight? What if the man who had fallen so far down the pecking order that most forgot he was even there was suddenly handed a lifeline? Tonight, in the EFL Cup, that story comes alive. A story of redemption, doubt, and fate. The name? André Onana. Once a hero, then a target. Now, the question is simple. Can he silence the doubters, or will this be the night that defines the end of a career that once promised greatness? It wasn't so long ago that André Onana was being celebrated across Europe. At Ajax, he was a wall that young stars trusted. At Inter Milan, he was a warrior in gloves, a goalkeeper with the confidence of an outfield player, someone who could spray passes as comfortably as he could block shots. He was a symbol of the modern goalkeeper, bold, daring, unafraid. But football doesn't always reward bravery. In fact, sometimes it punishes it brutally. And when Onana arrived at Manchester United, the expectations were sky high. He was brought in not just to stop goals, but to revolutionize the way the team played from the back. Yet under the harshest spotlight in football, mistakes became magnified. Errors turned into headlines. Headlines became criticism. And criticism slowly turned into humiliation. First, he was a starting goalkeeper. Then, a string of errors cost him the trust of the fans and the confidence of his teammates. Before long, whispers began. Was Onana really cut out for the Premier League? The unthinkable happened. He wasn't just dropped, he was overtaken. Second choice. And then, third. From first on the team sheet to nearly forgotten, Onana's career spiraled in a way few could have predicted. The cameras that once zoomed in on his every save now ignored him. The cheers were replaced by groans. He had become, in the eyes of many, invisible. And yet, the story didn't end there. Because for every player who fades into obscurity, there are some who refuse to let go. For Onana, this was a test of character. Training became lonelier, harder. No more adrenaline of match day. No more roars of the crowd. Just empty sessions, endless drills, and the fight to convince coaches who had already looked elsewhere. Most players in his situation never find their way back. But quietly, Onana kept working. Day after day, long after teammates had left the training ground, he stayed behind, diving, kicking, pushing himself. His career, it seemed, was slipping away, but his will to fight never did. Then, fate intervened. The EFL Cup. To many fans, it's a secondary competition, a trophy that doesn't carry the glamour of the Premier League or the prestige of a Champions League. But for players in Onana's situation, it is something far greater. It is a doorway, a chance, an escape from the shadows. This was the opportunity he needed, not just to play, but to remind the world who he once was. But it wasn't straightforward. The decision wasn't automatic. The manager faced a dilemma. Should he stick with the regular starters, the safe pair of hands? Or should he gamble, trust the man the world had written off? Fans debated fiercely. Critics scoffed. Even teammates quietly asked the same question. Would Onana actually be chosen? And then something shifted. In training, people started noticing a difference. His hands seemed sharper, quicker. The saves he pulled off weren't just routine. They were spectacular. His passing, the skill that once made him special, returned with a new crispness. The confidence that had drained away slowly began to resurface. Coaches exchanged glances. Journalists picked up on whispers. The forgotten man was making noise again. And behind closed doors, a decision was reached. André Onana would be given the gloves. And now, here we are. The stage is set. Tonight, under the bright floodlights of the EFL Cup, André Onana walks out not as a backup, not as forgotten man, but as a starting goalkeeper. Every camera lens will be pointed his way. Every fan will be watching. Every touch of the ball, every fingertip save, every hesitation will be scrutinized. For Onana, this is not just another football match. This is a story of survival, a chance at redemption, the possibility of rewriting his legacy. Because make no mistake, this is more than 90 minutes of football. This is a career on the line. This is a man fighting not just for a clean sheet, but for respect, for the belief of his teammates, for the forgiveness of his fans, for his place in football history. So the question remains, can he do it? Can André Onana rise from the ashes of doubt, silence the critics, and show that the talent everyone once believed in is still alive? Or will the pressure of this night prove too much, leaving the stadium echoing with the sound of a career collapsing under the weight of expectation? The answer we'll discover under the lights.